Are you your own worst critic? Today I want to talk about labelling and self-criticism. They're cognitive distortions, mind traps, and they're holding you back. Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff. I'm a positive psychology practitioner, and on this channel I want to help you to get happy, to live longer, and to grow younger. And today we're going to talk about what is labelling, and why is it dangerous, and what to do about it. Okay, so in positive psychology we have a saying which is permission to be human. Permission to be human. As awesome as I believe we are as human beings, we make mistakes. Of course we do. We have flaws. We are flawsome. I love that word. I wish I'd made it up. Unfortunately, I didn't. But I think we are flawsome. We're awesome human beings, but we have flaws. And sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we might say something silly to someone, or we might do something silly which has a negative impact on either them or on ourselves. And, that's okay too. These things happen. As I say, we make mistakes. The problem is, when we do make these mistakes, what we actually say to ourselves about them. You've heard the term self-talk. It simply means the things that you say to yourself in your head. And it's what you're saying to yourself in your head when you make one of these mistakes. So let's see so for example, then you might do something or try to do something and not be able to do it, and you say to yourself, oh, why can't I do this? I'm so stupid. Or you might say something to someone which upsets them, and then later you might say to yourself, oh, why did I say that? I'm so stupid. You may, you may take an exam for something which you don't pass, and you think yourself a total failure. I'm a complete failure. I should have passed that exam. I didn't. I'm a total failure. Let's see. Generally, it's negative labelling. It's I'm such a moron. I'm so stupid. I'm unlovable. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person comes up. So if you do say something that has a negative impact on someone else, and then you think to yourself, I'm just a bad person. That's happened before. I am a bad person. It's those kind of beating yourself up thoughts and giving yourself labels. That's what we mean, of course. And of course, giving yourself those negative labels is self-criticism. It's a judgment on yourself. And of course, do we label others? Yes, of course we do. We do label others, and so much so that there's a whole labelling theory, which I'm not going to get into because I want to talk about you. However, it is important to be aware when we're doing that, when we're labelling others. So, for example, let's say you ask someone at work to do something for you, and by the end of the day, and they don't do it, and you just think, she's such an unhelpful person. Or you might, let's say you have a teenage son who stays in bed until after lunchtime. Incidentally, I am not criticising or stereotyping teenagers. Teenagers do actually need a lot more sleep than you might think. But let's just say, for our purposes, that your teenage son doesn't get out of bed until 1 o'clock, and you think, he's such a lazy person. He's so lazy. He is lazy. Yeah, that's labelling them. Somebody's walking down the street and they're wearing odd clothes, let's say, and you say, gosh, look at that person there, how weird. He's weird. You may have decided that someone else is a horrible person. Think about it. Think about the way you do that in that kind of way. We all do it. A specific example of where I I label myself, or where I'm my own worst critic, shall we say. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel which involves filming with a camera and lighting, and I'm on my computer most of the day, either Zooming or researching on my computer. And there are times when I need to do something involving technology. If you've been with me a while, you know what I'm about to say. However, what I mean by this is I struggle. I have a struggle with technology. However, I will try. I can't think of something specific, but many times there are things I need to do that involve technology, and I don't know how to do it. So I will have a go at it. I will even go onto YouTube where they show you step by step how to do something, and I will follow step by step. And for some reason, the steps that they show me don't work for me. They don't work for me. And so I'll be doing this, and of course I'm getting frustrated, and then I will often say, sometimes out loud, because I'm here alone most of the time, and I'll say, Christine, why can't you do this? You are so pathetic. How stupid are you that you can't do this? And I talk to myself like that. You may do the same thing. I'm sure you've got something in mind as I'm talking. Why is it dangerous? It's dangerous because if you keep thinking that thought, guess what happens? You start to believe it. What is a belief? It's a thought you keep thinking. And if that thought is, I'm such a stupid person, and you keep thinking that over time, then you start to believe that you are a stupid person. You might criticise yourself as being too fat, too shy, too awkward, and as I've already said, too inadequate maybe, or too stupid, a strong word, maybe inadequate. If you think that often enough, then you start to believe it. Now, where that becomes a problem for you and why it holds you back, this is why it's important to me on your behalf, is because if you think yourself to be too stupid, then you're not going to try anything new. And as we know, trying something new is one of the important steps. Learning new things is important to your happiness, to your overall happiness. And so if you think you're too stupid to try anything, then you're not going to try. You're just not going to try. If you think you're too fat, for example, if you've criticised yourself as being too fat, then, you may decide not to do a beach holiday. You'd really love to do a beach holiday, but you consider yourself to be too fat, and so you won't go and disrobe on a beach. The person that you're working with, who you have decided and labelled as being unhelpful, if you need help again, then the chances are you're not going to go to that person to ask for help, and that could hinder your work. So you see how not just labelling yourself is dangerous, but also when we label other people. And in terms of labelling theory, of course, when we take that out into the wider society, it's a huge problem. But as I say, my immediate concern is you and your self-labelling that I want to bring your attention to and explain to you, because, we all do it, that if you do it too much, then that's when it starts to become dangerous. It starts to adversely affect your life and can lead you down this downward spiral to depression. But as I say, even if it doesn't do that, it can be holding you back from enhancing your life in all kinds of ways. So we need to be aware of it, and we need to tackle it bit by bit. As I said before, you've been doing this forever. It's not just going to change overnight, but when you do start to become aware of it, as I've said before, then that's half the battle. And then what do you do? How can you stop yourself from doing it? What's the best way to stop? Well, first of all, self-compassion is a big thing. I've talked about this before. I've no doubt I'll be talking about it again. Give yourself a break, first of all. You would not say to a friend, I wouldn't say to someone who was struggling with the computer, I wouldn't say to them, You stupid person. How pathetic are you? Would I? I wouldn't dream of saying that. What a moron. Okay, I'll stop now. I wouldn't. It would be horrible if I said that to someone. So ask yourself in this situation, if a friend had said this thing that you're beating yourself up about, or done this thing, how would you speak to them? How would you speak to them and treat yourself the same way, with a bit of self-compassion? But the important thing to do is to remember that when you say he is lazy, then you are giving him the identity, a whole identity of being a lazy person, when in fact it's his behaviour that is lazy in that incident. If you want to label anything, label the behaviour. So when your son, and this is how you question, going back to questioning and asking, how can I prove that labelling wrong? Your son gets out of bed at 1 o'clock, for example, but then he goes to work, or then he helps you, or then he goes to school, or then he goes doing other things. He is not lazy all the time. He just sleeps in till 1 o'clock. Your friend who was unhelpful, or your colleague who was unhelpful at work, she could have been having a bad day. She could need help herself and hasn't talked to you about it. She didn't help you on that occasion. Her behaviour on that occasion may have been unhelpful, but she is not an unhelpful person all the time. This is why we label food. Carrot, potato. It's not good to label people, because when you label something, it's fixed. It's fixed. I am stupid means I cannot change. You are a moron means you will not change. It is who you are as a person, and you will not change. But it isn't fixed, is it? We know that behaviour can change. So labelling, keep it to foods and cans and objects and other things, but not for human beings, and certainly not for yourself. It is a big subject again. I'm sure there's lots of things I should cover and could cover. If there's anything more you want to know about this, or any help at all in the area of labelling and self-criticism, please let me know in the comments box, and I will help if I can. Okay, if this has helped you, please give me a thumbs up so that I know I'm on the right track in terms of helping you. And of course, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. It really helps the channel. Okay, I'll see you next time. Until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.